Alright, switching over to the big camera. Do like a time-lapse build thing because I'm too lazy to keep talking. So I'm just gonna build this. I got my new frame. This is the part I've been waiting on. I've had all the other parts. So I think I'm just gonna unbox the frame right now. Start with the centerpiece and then build off of it. I think that's the most legit way to do it. So quick shout out to Albies. Flip over there hooked me up on not only the frame, but my spokes for the wheels and a couple other parts, my bars. Also shout out to Jack for bringing me the frame. Saved me a trip down there, which is like an hour away, so that was sick. I own the Chrome Hyper Wizard in a 20.8 as well. I even debated on going to the 20.4, but I don't know if I could go that short. I was on a 20.6 for a while. That's what that purple frame is. Hyper frame. Hyper Wizard. These decals are gonna come off, but for the build, we'll leave them on there. The only thing, like, so I have these bars. These are the bars I got for it. Kink Williams bars. And they're just not as glossy. Like, this is so different. Shout out to Kink for like not putting the stickers on all the way and making them super easy to peel off. I'm basically gonna take this bike apart because I'm using half the components on it. It's a $400 headset from Ceramic Speed, and it's like, well, you can't hear it, but it's making all these weird noises. This limited edition profile camo stem is about to go so hard with these tie bolts in it on the all black bike. Snafu magical fork. So the frame and fork. Yeah, 75.5 with an R25. This is 75 with a 30mm offset. So this is gonna feel much more mellow. I think that looks super clean. I actually really like the stem on there. I love these US brands, but it's so inconvenient when everybody has a 6 and then I gotta have a 1/4 inch to tighten my stem. These are my favorite bars. 925, it's the only size they come in. It's my favorite size, handlebar. The size bar that I've been most comfortable on. I've been on these for years. I love these King Williams bars. So sick. I always put in some bullshit bottom bracket, but I got these Odyssey Thunderbolt cranks, which are like surprisingly light for a crank that's designed for the streets. I went with 165s this time. That's new. I've been on 170s. I wanted to try out the 165. We'll see if I like them. But these are, I've been on a few pairs of these, probably 4 pairs of these in the past. And I love them, tried and true. And they are super light for super strong crank. And I get so much hate for putting these bottom brackets in with a hammer. So I'm not gonna put them in with a hammer today. I'm gonna put them in with a fucking profile racing crank arm. Fuck up bottom bracket press. Back to business, gotta put the crank arms on. Also, another piece that I need at the same time, super fucking stoked on. I found this old Odyssey like solid sprocket. Super dope. But the other side is just all gloss black. So we're just gonna put that there. It's gonna look so fucking good. The cranks went on fine, it was just a sprocket. Solid, nice, love it. I'm gonna run this Vocal bottom bracket spacer. I really wanted to keep it all black and I might just Sharpie it later. I really like this idea. Tighten those little Allen keys, it keeps the cranks from spinning. So these cranks are tight and they still spin quite a bit, so then I can tighten that down and it'll keep these from spinning as much. Now you tighten these guys down just a little, but yep, now these won't move as much. I may end up putting another pair of these Tioga Surefoot pedals on. They're actually super dope. Pins are super tall, dumb cheap, and they look good. They're super light, big wide platform. All right, let's get the seat. I raised my seat up. I was having my seat super low and I raised it up like to the minimum insertion, which is here, so like super high. I've actually really been digging the seat being up this high. Makes so many tricks way easier, like bar spin tricks and suicide tricks. Not to let this footage go to waste. These are my new hoops. I've got a Profile Z coaster laced to an Alienation Felon, Profile Elite front laced to a Deviant. Totally lied about this. I switched from a Deviant to a Skylark. I wanted a little more balanced feel, so I got a little heavier rim. The KHE tires back on. Instead of these Tubolitos, I've got these super light And Tubolito sent me these, so shout out to them. I've also got these alienation rim strips. And big shout out for helping me kind of decide what I wanted to do in terms of parts. They're the reason I went with 165 cranks. They're the reason I went with a 20.8 frame. Mike's the reason I'm on the Z coaster right now. Also, quick shout out to Alienation for suckering me into doing a best rim video and then not hooking me up with rims. I keep forgetting, I have a lot of people to shout out in this video. Shout out to Profile for hooking me up on the Z coaster. I owe them a review video on it, which keep an eye out for that. These things are interesting, but I'm still on it, so that's saying something. And fun fact, this is probably my this is my 4th Z coaster that I've owned. I have a love-hate with this thing, and I'm trying to love it. I really am. These tubes are significantly smaller, like definitely thinner. I'm sorry, Tubolito. I really just can't with the orange valves, so I'm gonna color them black real quick. I also got this brand new Haro baseline C-post combo that I'm gonna try because I wanna know if I'm gonna love it or hate it before my new bike build. All right, there it is without chain and grip. So tomorrow, chain and grips are the project. I'm pretty stoked on that. I think that looks so sick. All right, this is the whip until tomorrow. I gotta take some logos off still. So I'm gonna head to the shop in the morning.
You record me slaving away for you.
I lied. Ian's cut my bars for me. And I got these dumbass Odyssey Rayford grips. Actually, I really like these, but I wanted ODIs, but we didn't have none. So that's what we're doing for now. Shit.
Dude, it's so hot.
Now I can do bar spins. I gotta put on my safety glasses around this guy. I'm putting a chain on right now. This blacked out solid sprocket goes hard. Now I just gotta put the half link in because this chain, I think this puts it at 13.1 with 28.9 with a half link, which is where I've been on all my other bikes. So I'm doing that and then putting in the master link on this, the quick link. So both the KMC chain and the Tubolito get the Sharpie. A couple more coats and that'll be hidden. All right, it's built. My bars are definitely further back than I would ever run them, but to get the weight, let me go grab this scale. You only have 16 ounces to choose from. Oh, fuck, dude.
1906, dude.
I don't know. It was supposed to be lighter than my last build, but picking it up, it doesn't really feel lighter than my last build. Dude, how did it get fucking heavier? Now I have to get a new bike. I think that, so the pedals are definitely heavier. So I think I also came up with another potential factor is the front rim's heavier. So the front rim's heavier, sprocket's heavier, cranks are a little heavier because I forgot I had these are still super light, these Odyssey ones, but I had the Colony ones, which are like retarded light. But I'm gonna put brakes and pegs on, so it's gonna weigh more. Thinking back like to my best riding or my best style, my bike was still heavier than this, so we're still lighter than that. So I'm not upset. All right, I decided I'm gonna set up my brakes for tonight's session. The cool thing is the same setup, the last time I used it was on a Hyper frame, same Hyper Wizard frame, same size. So these should all be exactly the same. I shouldn't have to do any adjustments to this cable. All right, here is the final build. I ended up switching some stuff up on it, adding some pegs and hub guards. I have a hub guard here. I just have been too lazy to put it on for the Z coaster. I got the Tioga pedals on. I'm gonna do a full bike check in another video. This is just the bike build video. So yeah, I did have the brakes on for a few sessions. I pretty much do that once a year, or used to do that once a year. I'd put brakes on because I'm like, oh, I want brakes. Then I have to put them on, or it'll always be stuck in my head on like if I would ride better with brakes. Turns out once again, I ride better without brakes. So hence going back to the brakeless setup. Oh, I also found this hidden gem in my parents' the rafters of their garage. So I'm stoked on that. Matches the stem. My up-to-date bike build. Once the video is posted, it'll be linked in the description for the bike check. Kind of explains why I run, the specs that I do, what things make certain things easier. And I actually really like this setup now. Rode it for a few sessions, and I'm pretty much back to where I used to be when I was riding pretty regularly years ago. There's also a different frame I had in mind that has one different spec, and it's basically this being slightly taller, like a ½ inch taller. It's really the only difference is the height here, and the frame that I was potentially putting on is a little bit heavier, just by a couple ounces. But for now, this is what I'm gonna keep. This will be the setup I'm gonna run for a little while.